Now I know right off the back here, let's be honest, not everybody here is a basketball fan. I get that. I will keep it brief, but I did want to talk about this because this little situation goes a little bit beyond basketball. This is actually even kind of beyond sports. All right, my take on this current situation. So, to be specific, let me set the scene. So, in the NBA, there are obviously two teams: the Los Angeles Lakers. Actually, three teams: the Los Angeles Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Utah Jazz. So, there was a three-way trade where the Dallas Mavericks would receive Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 Lakers first-round pick. The Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi, yeah, I say it right, Maxi Kelber, Markieff Morris, and Utah Jazz got guard Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2025 Clippers second-round pick. I don't know how that was thrown in. Oh, I think because the Mavericks had that. And the 2025 Mavericks second-round pick. That's the official, the package deal that went around there. Now, for those of you who do not follow basketball, Luka Doncic, which is the name that everyone is throwing around because that's the one that matters the most. I can see why the Los Angeles Lakers traded Anthony Davis. I get it. He's a great player, former Olympian, world champion. He's got all the credentials, two-way player. I get it. But his nickname, not just by the people and the fans, his nickname in the business is street clothes. Because this motherfucker is always in street clothes. He stays hurt. All the time. He's never on the fucking court, ever. When he is, he's ridiculous. But he's hurt a lot. So, why make this trade, right? Luka is, Anthony Davis, you can say, is the second best player on the Lakers, with the first being LeBron James, obviously. You can't say that on Dallas. Luka Doncic is not only the best player, he's been the best player for a long time. He's 25 years old. He hasn't even hit his physical prime yet. He's been with the league about 5 or 6 years. He came to the league as a teenager from Europe. He was looked at as a prodigy. Okay? And he came to the league. He's been here about 5 or 6 years. He averages for his career 28 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He almost averages a triple-double for his career. Not even like a seasonal thing. Overall, the boy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he came into the league right as Dirk Nowitzki was leaving. And Dirk Nowitzki was a long-time Dallas Maverick. One of the few running gun Texas types. He didn't want to be traded. He never wanted to leave Dallas. That was his home. He stayed there. He was a true. But this guy was so loyal to his team and so well respected. The last year of his career, when he went into other people's buildings, they took time out to applaud him on his career. The away teams. And I mean that literally, they would call a timeout. Like if the Dallas Mavericks had no time left, no timeouts left, but there's only like a few minutes left and the Mavericks are already up or they're already down, the opposing coach would call a timeout so they could sub out Dirk. Like, you've done enough, sir. Thank you very much for your service. And he had a seat. He's from Europe. When he left, they drafted Luka. So for the last season, for Nowitzki, he had Luka, and they did a whole passing of the torch. Luka was going to be the guy moving forward. And that's what the prophecy has been this entire time. And
he's been delivering, apparently.
And he's been delivering. This motherfucker has never had a slump.
I don't know basketball at all, but I know this guy's a legend.
At 25.
I remember hearing about him when he was fresh, like he was 16 or however old he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I didn't even know he was 16 because you would think that'd be a focal point or things that people would bring up. Yeah. I know they never talked about it.
He got notoriety.
They treated that boy like a grown-ass man.
Yeah, and he balled because he balled like one. As a matter of fact, do you know who Jeff Teague is?
Sounds familiar.
Jeff Teague is he's a podcaster now, but he's a former NBA player, and he is hilarious. And he was telling a story about how they were doing some sort of rookie, whatever game or some shit like that, and he was on defense, and whatever team Luka was on, they kept passing the ball to Luka, and Luka was just doing damage. And Jeff T was like, "So y'all just gonna give the white boy the ball all the time?" And the opposing player looked him dead in the face, serious as shit, and said, "That white boy cold." And then they played the rest of the game, and he said, "Damn, you're right. That white boy is
indeed
cold.
cold.
He is indeed cold." But yeah, he's listen. He to put it into terms, like to put it into terms in non basketball ways. What happened here is very very unique because it doesn't happen ever.
That's a franchise player. I don't understand why they traded him.
Franchise player. And when I mean franchise player, folks, I'm not talking about he's the best player on the team, which he obviously is.
He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, arguably you can definitely make that point.
I don't know if it was a time thing. Like it just could be maybe LeBron was at his elder stage of his career, but shortly within his first couple years, I mean, people would even say he was balling way better than LeBron was.
Yeah, exactly. Even when
I've heard that. Yeah, that was the real reason why I bring it up.
Yeah, and to put it into like the best way I could describe what this really means, it would be as if Jordan had just lost the finals last year, but the team's good enough to go back and beat everybody. And then they just traded Jordan. You know, if the Patriots had lost that first Super Bowl and the team's ready to win and they just trade Tom Brady out of nowhere in his prime. And even in his prime, this kid hasn't even hit his prime yet. He's only 25.
He's peaking. He's peaking.
Yeah, sure. So, baseball, if the Yankees hadn't won in 96, but they were, as we all know, they were geared to win for the next 6 years, but they didn't win in 96, so we just trade Jeter. For no reason. Because let's get more into the specifics about what really happened here. This is why I say that this situation kind of goes past sports, because what this really comes down to is a contract situation. And I've had my arguments with people online about contracts. Hey, you signed a contract. You need to live up to your contract. You signed the deal. You knew what you were getting into. If you, the player or the athlete, if you abide by your contract through and through, no issues, that does not guarantee that the people who gave you that contract will follow it too. I've been saying that for fucking years. And we have another situation here. So apparently this happened in the dead of night. I'm watching the Royal Rumble, and my phone's blowing up. I'm getting all kind of notifications. Not from people messaging me, but I got some sports stuff that...
From like Sports Center and shit like that?
Yeah, shit like that. Like Google. Google was the one who told me, blockbuster announcement, historic deal, and then broke all this down. And I thought the same thing a lot of other sports people thought. We thought the system got hacked or something. We didn't think it was real.
We thought this was a ha-ha joke?
Yeah, like an April Fool's kind of situation. I'm like, it's February. Whose corny ass is out here making jokes? I laughed about it with Pombo. Because I was in Pombo's house. I was like, yo, this shit is stupid. Look at this. Oh, that shit. Yeah, okay. No, we woke up the next morning and they're like, no, this really happened.
This was not a dream, boys.
Said, what? And what I was trying to say before, when I say face of the franchise, I don't just mean he's the best player. His face is on everything. It's in the building. It's on the tickets. If you're a season ticket holder, it's Luka on the fucking top of the. It's everywhere. There was talk of a statue. He's 25. They were going to put a statue up at one point. So, what really happened here? What really went down? What do I mean by contract situation? So apparently, we're learning a little bit more now as the days progress through. Apparently, Luka and the medical team at the Dallas Mavericks were having some sort of an issue because part of the routine with the medical team and all that stuff is nutrition, right? They want the athletes eating good, looking good, feeling good so they can put the best performance they can on the court. And apparently, it wasn't nobody at that place happy about the fact that he was starting to balloon a little bit. His average weight throughout the course of his career has been around 230 pounds, which for a point guard is still pretty big. That's a big point guard. Um, but now his current weight, we're being told, is somewhere around 270 pounds, well above his average. The boy's eating good. We'll put it at that. But I would like to remind all of you that
Man, when you're a king and you eat nothing but turkey legs and pussy, I mean, you gonna get a couple extra calories.
I'm going to tell you again. The larger he got larger over the course of his career, and yet, he is still averaging 28 and 8 and 8 for his career.
Yeah, but what if he dropped a couple lbs? He probably would be at that triple double.
Well, here's his point out. He began with the Mavericks in 2018, the 2018-2019 season. This is his rookie year. He averaged 21 points. The next year, 28, 27, 28, 32, 33, and this season so far, due to injury, he's down to 28. This is with an injury. The last 2 years, his fat ass averaged 32 and 33 points respectively for the season. He also averaged 8 rebounds and 9 rebounds respectively over the course of the last 2 years, as well as 8 assists and 9 assists. He is one number away from a triple double for the last 2 years, and that is consistent because in his rookie year he averaged 21, 7, and 6. That was his rookie year. This boy is special. And they traded him because the reasons that they've been giving is the conditioning wasn't there. The one thing that you can say about Luka that is absolutely true, he's fair game. He's not a great defensive player. As they put it last year when he played in the finals, he's a hole on the court. He's the best player on the team, but the Celtics attacked him because he cannot defend. He is a liability on that end. And when you have a whole team of people who can't defend, you're going to get run up and down the court, and that's what happened with the Mavericks. So they're saying, well, he's been injured a lot recently, but then they received Anthony Davis in a trade, which I just explained to you. His nickname is Street Clothes. He's never on the fucking floor. So at first, you start to think about, okay, well, all right, maybe he's a little out of shape. Maybe he's not putting in the time and the discipline they want to see, but he's still a franchise player. I mean, you're going to tell me he's too fat and too slow to play in this league, but your back-to-back MVP, Nikola Jokic, is the worst athlete I have ever seen in the history of the NBA. And I've watched for 40 years. I've seen some shitty athletes. He's the worst. He's a 2-time MVP. So don't tell me Luka can't play in this league with that motherfucker running around flailing like a fucking 7-foot potato every fucking game.
Shit.
Don't fucking tell me that. That ain't it. Then the real conversation starts to take place. So for those of you unaware of how pay scales work, so in the NBA there's a salary cap. 5 years is the most that you can sign an individual, and I think it's around 250, 260, whatever the case may be, million for the total length of the contract is the max money you can spend. That's a max player. With the players agreement, he has fulfilled his requirements to be eligible for what's called a super max contract, which means it still stays at 5 years. But instead of the 250 or the 260, he'll be making 360. He gets an additional 100 for the course of the next 5 years.
He deserves it, no? You think that's why they were trying to get rid of him? Because they didn't want to pay it?
There now is talk that that's the reason for the trade, because they didn't want to financially be on the hook for a guy for the next 5 years, and they weren't sure if he was even going to play.
Fat.
Yeah, they weren't even sure he was going to play. because it's not so much about gaining weight, but then when you're being told about it, and they're giving you the resources. Here, we've got dietitians, we've got nutritionists, we've got people who can do the work for you. You just have to, paint in the color here. You just got to take it step by step. And he's refusing to do it. To them, yeah, that seems like a reasoning. But then it gets deeper, because it turns out that for years, Luke has had a temporary home in Dallas or in the Texas area. I'm pretty sure it's not directly in Dallas. These people don't live in the cities that they work. But he just finalized. I mean, the house was just finished, everything just last week for $15 million. He bought a $15 million home in Texas last week. And they traded him this weekend.
I'll be tight.
So not only, because that's the next part that people need to follow. At the end of his contract with Dallas, he would have been eligible for a Supermax. Because of the trade, LA can sign him to whatever deal they want, but he's not eligible for the Supermax. So, according to reports, because of the trade, he'll lose $116 million on a 5-year deal that he should have had with the Mavericks had he stayed. And he just bought a $15 million house last week when everything was finalized. So not only now is he out $116, you can throw $15 million on top of that. So he's out $131 million because two people got into a room and laughed about it and made a deal.
It's life, bro.
So I fast forward to a different issue that people probably don't know about. But there's another superstar player in the league right now who's getting some weird treatment. That's my boy Jimmy Butler. He played in Miami. He took same thing as Luka. Took him all the way to the finals. They just couldn't close it up. But they got all the way to the finals. And he was told at the end of those finals that he would get an extension on his deal. And we come back the next season and they're second guessing that. And he's not making it any easier a decision for them because he's being, hot-headed about it. They're going back and forth. And he just decided, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to play. So he's going to the practices, but he's not participating. He's sitting on the side. He's doing his own thing. And eventually, our old friend, Pat Riley, old Slickback, just came downstairs and said, all right, if we ain't going to do shit, get the fuck out of here. Leave. He kicks him out. So he goes home. And now he's still home. And people are like, well, he signed the contract. He signed the deal. He should be here. He did this and he did that. Well, you know what? Luka came to work. He was there. They traded him anyway. Jimmy wanted the extension, which he deserved because he was their top player. He carried him all the way to the last game of the series, the last game of the season. And he was only reason why I'm even discussing this is because he asked for an extension and they said yes. If they would have told him, hey, look, we'll reassess at the start of the next season or any kind of BS to just kind of like, hey, look, we're thinking about it, whatever the case may be. They told him yes, and they just haven't done it. That's it. They told him yes, and then he pitched a fit, and they go, well, if you're going to act like that, then I guess it'll be a no then. And he's just at home. I have this conversation with wrestling fans. He signed a contract. He doesn't really need to do anything. Contracts, I've had my experience with contracts, and I've had my experience with people telling me about how these contracts worth. They're not worth the paper they're written on. They're not. Contracts are only really good for two groups and two parties of individuals who are looking to conduct really good business. This is my show of good faith to you. The other person says, all right, well, I accept this token of good faith. Here are my services and here are what I'm going to do. And then you do it throughout the term of the contract. In a perfect world, that's what it would be. But in business, in real life business, there's always one side trying to fuck another. And you got to keep a sharp eye on what this other motherfucker is up to. Because they'll trade you in a heartbeat. They'll let you go. They'll put you on waivers. They'll find a way to get around that little contract that y'all love so much and do whatever it is they want to do. So now Luke is over in Los Angeles. And the next problem, people are like, well, how's that going to work with LeBron? It probably isn't. because LeBron is probably not going to be here much longer anyway. That boy tired.
Yeah,
That
it's
boy is
crazy.
tired. I mean, he's still
Yeah.
performing well, but come on. He's 40. I'm 42. I have not put in the physical time that he has. So his body must feel at least 67.
Yeah, for real.
Because it's not just NBA regular season. How many NBA Finals appearances has he made? Like 10? So that's 3 rounds of playoffs. That's the finals itself every year for a decade, not including the years outside of that. Because he's been there 20 years, 20 seasons. You tired. you gonna
Yeah, I
let
need a break.
you gonna let the young man ball. So that becomes the next question now. Is it going to be Luka's team moving forward? We'll see. But they made a big fuss today. Today was the day they made this big fuss about Luka coming to L.A. I haven't seen a single clip, a single video of Anthony Davis arriving in Dallas. That boy must be. Someone gonna have to put him in witness protection. You have to put him on suicide watch. I don't know.
Oh, man, huh?
Kyrie immediately put in for a trade, bro. Immediately put in for a trade because he went to Dallas to play with Luka.
Yeah.
Now there's no Luka. So what the fuck am I doing here? I'm good.
Yeah, fuck this. I
Yeah.
don't want to be here.
I
I didn't think you watched football, basketball so much.
I still watch all the sports. I catch what I can. I read a couple of headlines. I go to YouTube. Sometimes at night, I have in my bedroom. I have Amazon Fire Stick. I have
Okay.
the Fire Stick, and what happens is it's a smart TV. Once you turn your TV on, you have your selection of apps, but it auto plays whatever it's advertising at the time or whatever, the new movie or the new series or something. And Amazon
Yeah.
has this deal with the NFL, so sometimes they'll have games on. It'll literally just boot up, the TV will just boot up, and all of a sudden there's a game on. I just won't change the fucking channel. I'm doing laundry, I'm folding clothes. Next thing you know, I'm watching the Lions and the Packers or whatever the fuck is on. So
Yeah.
sometimes I don't really go looking for it, but it's like right there. Plus, I'm not gonna front. Sometimes when I watch clips of analysts breaking shit down, I kind of want to see what happened. So I go back and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. So a lot of these people, like sometimes people are amazed that I still even know who some of the new people are,
Word.
but it's shit like this that fucks with me because I'm like, because even the players said it. Like, you got YouTube, everybody out there, if you want to see a real reaction, look at Kevin Durant's reaction. The first game he went to after the trade when everybody was in his face. Have you heard about the Luka deal? And he just rubbed his head and was just like, wow. He said, look, listen,
Because they all know the inside. They know what that meant. They probably already knew. Oh, they fucked him out of money.
something happened.
I'm sure the players knew it.
Something happened, and they're not talking about it. And they absolutely did. You see? No, you probably didn't. The general manager, his name is Nico Harrison. He did a press conference the day after, was it Sunday? So the day after they made the trade, here's a name that you should remember. His name is, you remember Jason Kidd?
Yeah.
He's the coach of the Mavericks.
Okay.
And they did a press conference together, which to me made no sense because even Nico Harrison, who is the GM, even he says in the press conference, Jason didn't know about it, the players didn't know about it, the staff didn't know about it. It was really just me and the other guy, the GM, behind closed doors, just having a conversation, trying to see if a deal could be made there. And I wish, hold on, I'm going to see if, nope.
And it built upon that. And
Okay, just didn't, okay. I'm going to play this, but I want to share it with you so you could see. Because I need you to see Jason Kidd's face. It's what everybody's talking about, is his face. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch.
we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J Kidd didn't know about it, but J Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know the type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey,
Look at Jason.
you know, so I know that. And J Kid coached them when they won a championship. So I think when you're aligned with your coach like that, I know the type of players that he likes. And so I felt good about it making sense to where we're trying to go. And
You see him talking
he kept a dead face.
But you see how he's talking for Jason. It's like he didn't.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't know, but I know what kind of guys
I know
he
what he
likes. I know what he likes.
Yeah.
And Jason's
I
sitting
know
there
what he
like, I don't think he knows what I like, son. I like a point guard who's a 5-time All-NBA player, multiple-time perennial All-Star, and a 28, 8-8 guy. I think I like that guy. That guy's pretty good. I like guys like that, but you gave him away. So, what the fuck? So his face is absolutely perfect. Everyone's been memeing it because they're just like, oh, baby. There was a couple memes. One of them like got me at work. I'm not going to lie. It was a picture of him looking like that. And it was that picture of him and the dude talking. And somebody put as the meme, it goes, when you're in a group project, but you didn't do any of the work, so you just look stupid during the presentation. the other guy did all the work. I don't know shit about what's going on. I was like, God damn, they put this dude out there like that?
That's funny.
Fuck me. God damn. So, yeah, for anybody out there who's, you know, if you feel like you're untouchable, if you feel like, nah, not that guy. Yeah, that guy too.
Beast, man.
That guy too.